So, welcome to the topic of area and perimeter. Before starting the topic area and perimeter, we have to understand the dimension of the quantities area and perimeter. What does the term dimension means? Dimension means how many in how many direction a quantity can be defined. Let's suppose we all in our general life we say that this is a 1D object and some objects are 2D objects and some objects are 3D objects. We say in our common life we see objects which is 1D, which is 2D, and which is 3D. D means here dimension. This D means dimension. Now comes the actual concept of perimeter and area. What is perimeter? Let's suppose an example of a rectangular field. Okay, so this is the border of the field. Let's suppose it is a football ground and here the grass are here. Okay, the grass are in this portion. All right, so when you are said that you have to calculate the perimeter means boundary. Okay, perimeter means boundary, so you have to only calculate this portion. And if you see closely, this is not a space. Space means like this is a space where the grass is present and where the football is being played. Football is not played on this border, but this border is necessary to define on how many space it is confined, right? So this is, if you observe closely, this is a single line, not a space like that. It is not a broad space. This is only a single line. Like if I go through the border and while going through a single line, it can be covered. So now this perimeter is a 1D quantity because we don't have to move to more than one parameter of dimension to cover this perimeter. If only by a thread, like a thread, we can measure this perimeter like a measuring tape or a measuring rope or whatever. But by a measuring rope, we cannot measure how much area, how much space is here. To measure this portion, this grass portion, we have to take, let's suppose, a sheet of paper, a sheet of a cloth. All right. Also, if I with the help of the duster, if I measure this, see now this can be measured by this. Okay, by this cloth. But what is this? What is this? This is a piece of cloth which has two dimensions. This is the length, this is the breadth. Okay, this is not a single thread. So thread, rope, this thread is like that, rope is a thicker portion. So these are 1D parameters because they can be measured by only one dimension. Okay, so for them length is only valid. Okay, no two dimension. That's why their unit, here comes the unit confusion. You will not have any unit confusion. Here unit only will be of dimension 1, meter to the power 1, or centimeter to the power 1, or foot to the power 1. But to the power 1 we generally don't write. That's why only it will be meter, centimeter, or foot, because to the power 1 is not written, or any other foot and inch like that. Only one power will be there. Okay, but 2D, like what I just mentioned, that to mention this you need a 2D object like a piece of cloth. This is a piece of cloth, this is a 2D object. Okay, so this is covering a space. You're getting it, not a single thread. So that's why it is a 2D object. 2D means two dimension will be there minimum. This is the length, this is the breadth. By going through a single dimension, single direction, you cannot measure it. Okay, by going through like this you cannot measure it. Okay, you can measure it, but you have to go for multiple rope, multiple thread. So when this is going like multiple thread, it automatically comes in a different direction, not in this direction. You are getting it. So that's why this is two direction, one direction and two direction. For the perimeter, you are, see here also one confusion comes that, sir, for the perimeter we are going into different directions, like we are changing directions, like that we are changing direction. Here also we are changing, not, so that is not direction change. Direction change means you can go through with a single rope to measure the whole perimeter, but with a single rope you cannot measure it. You have to go to different direction, like like this. You are getting my point. If I think this is clear. So 2D objects are area. Also in geometry you will learn surface area, like that, surface area, and terms like uh, area, surface area. And see, in the, this is the concept and it will be used to measure your floor area. Okay, and always remember, 2D object means area means you have to calculate this space. Area means space, not a single thread. Okay, so whenever this will be needed, 1D will be border, boundary. Okay, these terms will be there. Okay, and then 3D concept is not needed for this area and perimeter, but still, let's suppose this is a field. It can be drawn on a this whiteboard. Okay, but see, can I be drawn exactly on this whiteboard? Entire me? You can draw me like that. Okay, it's, if I take an just illustration, you can draw me. These are my two hands, this is my body, and this can be two legs. Okay, but here you are taking just a front picture. My back cannot be drawn here. Okay, my hands back part is not. And also, if you see this thickness cannot be drawn. The thickness of my body cannot be drawn in this portion, because human is a 3D object. Okay, so if I say this is the breadth and this is the length and this is a thickness, I am a thick part. Okay, a sheet of paper, a sheet of paper is doesn't have any thickness, because a sheet of paper or a sheet of cloth doesn't have any thickness. That's why it is 2D. See, this doesn't have any thickness. Okay, this is not a thick part, it only have two dimension. Like this is the length and this is the breadth. Okay, so this duster have only two parts. That's why it is mentioned in 2D, like cloth. Okay, paper. But whenever you are taking a real life example, like your book will always have like this. Okay, it will have a thickness like this. Okay, so this is the length. Okay, this is the breadth or width, whatever you say. This is the length, and this is the thickness. Okay, so here comes the third dimension. You cannot measure it by only length and breadth, you have to go for the thickness. So like just for this you need only one dimension. To measure this you need two dimension, but to measure 3D objects you need three dimension. We will learn this in further geometrical figures. Like, let's mention them also, some examples. Like a cube. Okay, cube. Cube example. See, this is a 2D structure, but whenever this have a thickness, it becomes a cube. This is the thickness. Okay, if this 1D, 2D, 3D is clear, very clear of you, then it will be very clear to understand the units and the area and perimeter topic also. That's why this is the introductory part of area and perimeter. So it is very easy. What will be the unit of any area in a 2D object, like area, surface area, floor area, any tiles area? Don't, you will not make any mistake like meter square will be there because it is 2D. Here 2 means 2 meter is included to measure this. 2 meter means meter in two different direction. This is the first direction and this is the second direction. Okay, and this and these are same. These are same. Well, okay. So also semi square, foot square, like that. Okay, in square you can say any other unit. There will be 2 in the power. Similarly, here will be meter cube, unit, centimeter cube, foot cube, or inch cube, any other unit you can say. Here this 3 means this is the first direction, this is the second direction, and this thickness is the third direction. Okay, that's how this also in the coordinate geometry you can learn like x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. That will be on your senior classes. Okay, so this is understood. So let's move to the basic area and perimeter concept is done. Now we can move to the images or the shapes for which we have to calculate area and perimeter. Okay. For now only you have to calculate for 1D and 2D objects, mainly for 2D objects like square. Let's draw some shapes, then we can learn. Okay. Just some example we'll take and in this introductory class. Okay, like this basic 2D shapes. Square, how it looks? It looks like this. The length and breadth will be equal. Okay, we'll learn about them. Okay, just I'm giving some overview. Rectangle, the length will be longer, breadth will be shorter, width will be shorter. Circle, like this. Okay, and also there are parallelogram, and there will be trapezium. Okay, like that. So we'll learn in the next parts of this lecture also. Okay, thank you for staying up to this part. If you have any kind of doubt, you can freely ask me on the comment section. Okay.